The times have changed, the world has changed, business has changed, but it doesn't change.
I will try to make it happen.
That's good.
All right.
200. He'll make it happen. 200 million investment. That's
He is a great negotiator.
He's a brilliant guy.
There's two things going on with Trump when he trolls. So he looks around the spectrum of foreign policy challenges, and he has certain things he thinks needs to be addressed. And he knows it's not eccentric, that other people have mentioned it. So I'll give you an example. People for a long time have talked about, since World War II, that Greenland is in North America and it's very important. And the United States needs extra rights there to base. Then he looks at Panama and he looks back at the treaty that Carter signed, 1979, and it gave primacy for the United States to go through and at a discount rate, and it was supposed to be free of foreign, and he sees China there. So then he looks at Canada, and he says they're under our nuclear umbrella, they're not paying their fair share of the defense, the border is open, and they've got a radical Trudeau.
You know Trump's book, The Art of the Deal? Well, negotiation has always been a big deal for him, just like it was back in 1987 when he wrote that book. Now, in the first week of his second term as president, he's still using those same tactics, but on a much larger scale. We're talking about international diplomacy, economic threats, and shaping national policies. Trump's strategy? Leverage everything to his advantage, just like he did in his business days. He's out there negotiating trade deals, tackling international relations, always aiming to put the U.S. in the best position possible. Whether it's through hardball negotiations, threatening to pull out of deals, or using economic power, Trump's playing the game by his old playbook, the art of the deal.
Then he looks at Mexico, and he says they've got $63 billion in remittances that's coming in. It's their largest source of foreign exchange, and yet that comes in from anywhere from 12 to 20 illegal aliens, many of them who are on public assistance that we're subsidizing. It's the largest source of foreign exchange, and yet they let caravans come right through from Guatemala. So he sees all these problems. So then he starts to bring attention to them by being art of the deal outrageous.
Trump is preparing to renegotiate a whole series of international agreements, and he's doing what he usually does, which is to push for advantage hard and to see what happens, and to establish, what would you say, an anchor that is beyond even what he might hope to achieve, so that he can achieve half of that and be thrilled about it. He's very good at that. So, and I think Trump also floats these propositions as a trial balloon. You know, he's obviously a guy who's willing to see what'll happen. And so he likes to stir the pot. And he's doing that very effectively at the moment in relationship to Canada and Greenland and Panama and Mexico.
If he was a sober and judicious politician, he'd say, I'm very worried about China. There are some ambiguities in the treaty, and this is a concern, and I'm bringing a bipartisan commission. No, he's going to say, China's taken it over. We might have to go in there. I won't rule out the force. Then he'll say, why doesn't Greenland just come join the United States? We'll buy it. Or he'll say, the Gulf of Mexico, why isn't it the Gulf of America? Or then he'll say, Canada, we can make it a 51st state. So that's outrageous, and that gets attention. And then people start to discuss the real problem, because there are real problems there. And then there's another element that it's trolling, because the more you start to talk about it, and you dismiss Trump as the Europeans who is boisterous, divisive, eccentric, you start to look at other realities, and the realities are irony. Take the Gulf of America. So Trump says, it's time to be Gulf of America. How you like that, Mexico? But then you look at the coastline of the Gulf of America is 1,700 miles on the U.S. side, and it's 1,700 miles on the Mexican side. It's been Gulf of Mexico for 400 years. It'll be in Gulf of America. We have the same amount. It's fair. And that gets people upset. And then Mexico gets upset. And then suddenly Mexico says, we'll stop that caravan and let's negotiate.
A lot of negotiations about honesty. Be honest, because the other side, you're dealing with intelligent people, they're going to see it. But have an idea, make sure it's the right idea, and never, ever quit or give up on it. And be straight, be honest, because you're going to meet a lot of these people all throughout your life. And if they respect you, and if they do more or less what you want them to do, you're going to have to show that great degree of honesty. So The Art of the Deal was a great honor for me because of its wonderful success. I remember when it first came out, it went immediately to #1 on every list.
It's just so counterintuitive. Donald Trump is Hitler, 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 and then he gets the highest number of Latino and black votes of any Republican, maybe since George Bush Latinos. He's trying to tell people that the black truck driver and the Hispanic electrician and the white plumber all have things in common, much more with each other than the white guy does with the Stanford professor, than the Hispanic electrician does with the Latinx anchor woman. That was what the election was about.
Is this world of ours going to be blown up by some maniac or some idiot that doesn't know what they're doing? But let's try and assume, which is a pretty big assumption, that we are all going, as a race, we're going to be around, we're going to be here. The human race. It won't change. Negotiation will never change. It's always going to be the art of the deal. It's always going to be, you can pick up that book in 1,000 years, it's not going to change. It's going to be the same.
And then Panama, he says, well, you think we're an imperial power? You're against imperialism and Yankees? You brought in the Chinese. They're worse imperialists than we are. You're a colony of China. And that gets a further iron. Then he says to the Danish, you're lecturing us, me, that I'm getting in your internal affairs? You're a little tiny country, and you are a colonial power. You've got this big continent, and you're acting like you're a 19th century colonial. And this is coming from the EU? And you look at Greenland, the distance from New York to Greenland is shorter than from Greenland to Copenhagen. And Greenland's in North America, so it's 19th century, 18th century Europeans coming into North America and colonizing. And I want to let the people of Greenland decide. And the same thing with Canada. He's saying, well, maybe you should defend yourself because, you don't want people, we don't want people to be our colony, and we have all this one-way trade with you. And I guess we're a mercantile colonial power where the British learned that colonialism didn't work. So either be part of us or just stop it. Just go your own way and, but if you don't and you want to have a symmetrical, you better close the border. And you better have reciprocal trade charges, and you better pay up if you want to be a partner. But if you want to be a colonial subject, then keep doing what you want, and we'll treat you that way. So there's irony in all of these, but the point of all of them is to bring attention in an eccentric fashion and get something done quickly.
Canada's got some serious structural problems. Yeah, maybe the pressure that Trump's putting on the country will be salutary. It's certainly possible. Nothing unites the people like a common enemy. And now the Americans are clearly not the enemy of Canadians. And I suppose one of the underlying realities that is motivating Trump is the fact that Canada and the U.S. should be bound together very tightly economically, especially with regards to energy and energy security. And that could be negotiated in a way that would be eminently beneficial to both countries.
In wrapping up, Donald Trump's approach to his second term mirrors the strategies laid out in his book, The Art of the Deal. From his mastery of media and public perception, where he leverages truthful hyperbole and social media to shape narratives, to his unwavering persistence in policymaking, Trump embodies the never-give-up attitude he advocates. His knack for building and maintaining relationships has been crucial in navigating political waters, much like his business dealings. And let's not forget the branding. Trump's name remains as prominent in politics as it was in real estate. However, while these tactics have served him well in business, the political arena's complexities bring additional scrutiny with legal, ethical, and political challenges that might not fit neatly into his deal-making playbook. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to comment below with your thoughts and hit that subscribe button for more insights.
And I won't pay you 6%, Tracy. I won't. I'll pay you 1%. I was famous for that. No, no. Don't worry, nobody accepted it, don't feel. But I tried like hell, I'll tell you.